Welcome to Tales of Honor, a podcast with a mission to tell the true stories of every recipient of our nation's highest military award, the Medal of Honor. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Tales of Honor podcast. I'm your host, Christoph Ambroge, and today's episode is number 614. I do have one birthday to go over today, and it actually was yesterday, and it belongs to Mr. Brian Thacker, who was born on April 25th, 1945, and he turned the beautiful age of 77 years old. Brian is a former U.S. Army lieutenant that earned the Medal of Honor for his actions during the war in Afghanistan, so a very happy belated birthday to Mr. Brian Thacker. That is all the birthdays I have for today. Let's see here. Today's story does have a little audio blurb from the original ceremony, and it's read by the Undersecretary of the Army at the time, Thaddeus R. Beale. So just so you know who's reading that. And I did actually have the pleasure of speaking with today's recipient on the phone briefly, just to clarify some details regarding the story later in life. And he does have a book as well, which is linked in the show notes that you can go buy and give a read for yourself. So that's all I have for today. Let's get right on into today's Tale of Honor. Allen was born in a suburb of Chicago, Illinois, on the 20th of October, 1945, and he grew up in Indiana. As a child, he was bullied and pushed around, so when the opportunity came, Allen decided to enlist in the U.S. Army in 1964 to test himself. In 1966, he volunteered to deploy to the Republic of Vietnam, and it was his actions as a radio operator on the 15th of December, 1967, with Company D, 1st Battalion Air Mobile, 12th Cavalry Regiment, 1st Cavalry Division Air Mobile, that would later earn him the Medal of Honor. The citation reads,
Sergeant Allen J Lynch, while serving as a radio telephone operator with Company D, 1st Battalion Air Mobile, 12th Cavalry, 1st Cavalry Division Air Mobile, in Binh Dinh Province, Republic of Vietnam, on 15 December 1967.
For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, Sergeant Lynch, then Specialist 4th Class, distinguished himself while serving as a radio telephone operator with Company D. While serving in the forward element on an operation near the village of Mai An, his unit became heavily engaged with a numerically superior enemy force. Quickly and accurately assessing the situation, Sergeant Lynch provided his commander with information which subsequently proved essential to the unit's successful actions. Observing 3 wounded comrades lying exposed to enemy fire, Sergeant Lynch dashed across 50 meters of open ground through a withering hail of enemy fire to administer aid. Reconnoitering a nearby trench for a covered position to protect the wounded from intense hostile fire, he killed 2 enemy soldiers at point-blank range. With the trench cleared, he unhesitatingly returned to the fire-swept area 3 times to carry the wounded men to safety. When his company was forced to withdraw by the superior firepower of the enemy, Sergeant Lynch remained to aid his comrades at the risk of his life rather than abandon them. Alone, he defended his isolated position for 2 hours against the advancing enemy. Using only his rifle and a grenade, he stopped them just short of his trench, killing 5. Again, disregarding his safety in the face of withering hostile fire, he crossed 70 meters of exposed terrain 5 times to carry his wounded comrades to a more secure area. Once he had assured their comfort and safety, Sergeant Lynch located the counterattacking friendly company to assist in directing the attack and evacuating the 3 casualties. His gallantry at the risk of his life is in the highest traditions of the military service. Sergeant Lynch has reflected great credit on himself, the 12th Cavalry, and the U.S. Army. Once rescued, Allen spent a few days medicating with some, quote, liquid refreshments, and was then sent back to his unit. He was notified that he was put in for the Medal of Honor, but never heard anything until he was back home in the States. The day before he was to be married to Susan, he was notified that he would be receiving the medal from President Nixon on the 14th of May, 1970. Allen joined 11 others in a ceremony at the White House, and he left the active Army as a sergeant just prior to the ceremony. He went on to serve in the Army Reserves and the Illinois National Guard, where he was an acting sergeant major with an air defense artillery unit, retiring at the rank of first sergeant in 1994 after 21 years of service. Allen and his wife have 3 children, and they moved back to Illinois, where he worked for the Department of Veterans Affairs. He had stated that he truly wanted to earn the medal and did so by advocating for veterans seeking care. He went on to serve as the chief of the Illinois Attorney General's Veterans Rights Bureau until his retirement in 2005. Allen has volunteered for the Vietnam Veterans of America and gives speeches at military-related events. Allen wrote a book, Zero to Hero, From Bullied Kid to Warrior, that was released in 2019 that acts as his life story and highlighting the consequences of surviving war. Allen James Lynch is 77 years old at the time of this recording and lives in Gurnee, Illinois. And that was a Tale of Honor. Thank you for listening to Tales of Honor, and if you enjoyed the show, please be sure to subscribe and tell your friends and family. Tales of Honor is written and produced by Christoph Ambrose, and theme music is Loyalty and Duty by Floruz Music. If you have any questions, you can send an email to talesofhonorpodcast@gmail.com, and please be sure to visit talesofhonorpodcast.com for more episodes and information.